Are you looking to make an impact with your music on other people? Are you hoping to get some sort of reaction from your listeners? Or maybe you just want to start building a reputation as an artist or producer with your own original music. All right, so if this is something that is near and dear to your heart, something you truly want to do, then finding your own unique style is an essential step that you will have to take in order to hit that goal. It's going to be one of the only ways to stand out in such a crowded field and to make a lasting impact on your listener and future fans. But what if you don't know what your unique sound is or how to find it yet? Well, stay tuned because that's what we're going to cover in this video. Hey yo, it's Alex from Meta Mind Music, and as always with this channel, it's my mission to help you, the artist, produce themselves by developing their mindset, expanding their creativity, and connecting to their music in a deeper way. And in today's video, I want to talk about something that is super underrepresented, yet is probably one of the most important things if you want to stand out as an artist or producer in today's day and age. And what is that? It is finding your unique sound. It's something that will help you stand out in such a crowded field, something that is memorable, and something that really authentically expresses you as an artist. Because I hate to break it to you, getting a pro sound is not nearly enough in today's environment. People want something that is unique, something that is authentic, something that is you. If you don't quite believe me yet, let me share you a few stats that will point towards this. So I searched up Spotify statistics 2023, and Spotify confirms that the company adds 60,000 new tracks a day, which amounts to 22 million tracks uploaded every single year. So it's clear that more music is being created and released and shared online than ever before. And the reason for this is because music making has largely become democratized. How do you even say that word, man? And the reason for this is that the barrier to entry to get into writing, producing, and releasing your own music has been dramatically decreased. The truth is this: anybody can get into making music, and getting a pro sound is no longer a secret dark art. You could simply get an online course, work with a mentor, and you're off to the races. Shameless plug. Not to mention that AI will probably be able to pump up what I like to call wallpaper music, meaning music that sounds the same as everything else, in 3 seconds. So all that to say is that if your music is playing on the same playing field as AI, as people just getting into production and using pro quality samples, as automated mixing and mastering, we're gonna get lost in the noise. So let's dive into 5 tips to help you discover your unique sound. Step number 1 is to explore different genres and different artists. Explore different music in general. This is a key first step to seeing what resonates with you, seeing what you can pull from various influences and various things that inspire you, whether it's from classical to jazz or rock to pop or even R&B to hip hop, whatever it is, mix it up, because the more you can influence yourself from various sources, or maybe you catch a soundtrack on a movie that inspires you, or a video game, or maybe some artists play an instrument in a unique way that resonates with you, or maybe it's their lyrical content and what they speak about. Either way, intentionally going out of your way to explore new music, music that you have not heard before, or music that is outside the genres that you typically listen to, can be a good primer to start exploring new things to add to your music. For me, recently, I've been experiment, bro. For myself, I've recently been exploring more ambient music or post-rock music, as well as going back into exploring impressionist music like early Debussy or Ravel. Amazing stuff that I've never really dove deep into, and it's given me a ton of new musical ideas. Tip number 2 is to analyze your favorite artists. So chances are, growing up, you had your favorite artists, you have your favorite artists right now. There are certain artists that stuck out amongst the rest at different phases in your life. And it can be useful to think about what makes those artists unique, or what about those artists really resonates with you, that it resonates more than anything else, and to identify those things. Instrumentation, production techniques, songwriting, vocal style, lyrics could all be indicators of something that stuck out to you. And chances are, if you can pinpoint a few things that really resonate with you in some of your favorite artists throughout your musical history, you'll be able to use those same tools to vibe with your music in an organic way. If I think back to my favorite artists on my journey, it started with the Beatles, which I would say excellent songwriting, love the vocals. And then it went to Beck. I had a huge Beck phase, so very experimental, using all these different sounds, yet still catchy vocals. Then Van Halen, I was super into Van Halen, guitar tones. Then I had a huge metal phase, a lot of chonks, a lot of polyrhythms, a lot of weird, crazy stuff going on. So if you can pinpoint those specific musical devices that you've liked and resonated with throughout all of these major phases of your musical path, it's going to set the fertile grounds for you to create something that is truly unique in combining all of those things that resonated with you in a way that makes sense to you. Tip number 3 is to embrace your strengths. So some word of advice that goes around in music production and artistry and musicianship in general is to be well balanced, right? Is to have a good understanding and a good foundation of all the skills. And don't be wrong, having a thorough understanding of the basics of the majority of the skills that you need is a great idea. However, once you get past the basic intermediate level of production, I would argue that doubling down on your strengths and really hyper focusing on mastering something specific will be a lot more beneficial than to try and be good at everything. And everybody has strengths and weaknesses. Chances are there's something that you didn't even know that comes easy to you, that you do better than most people. It's worth identifying those things. And one thing that I've noticed in artists that I've really resonated with, or musical performances or records that have really stood out and blown my mind, is that there's one or two things that they do extremely well that makes them stick out amongst everything else. And that points towards really narrowing your focus and mastering your strengths and pushing them to limits that are beyond the threshold of typical or average. And a side benefit of focusing on your strengths is that you will be able to explore new uncharted music territory and push your skills even farther quicker versus focusing on your weaknesses, because if you focus on your weaknesses, it'll be slower. You'll have to put a lot more work or effort into your weaknesses to see a result that's unique and interesting versus just leaning into your strengths. It's worth thinking about, what are your strengths? Do you play an instrument very well? Do you have an ear for samples? Are you really good at hearing the harmony of a specific genre? Something that you can pinpoint that comes naturally to you and feels like a breeze for you to do is a great place for you to double down on. Number 4 is to stay true to yourself. Stay authentic. Discovering, shaping, and refining your unique sound and style is going to require you to stay true to yourself and be okay with that. Accept yourself. And don't get me wrong, imitating your favorite artist or learning the mechanics of a specific genre is useful for developing your skills. But at a certain point in time, it's worth kicking off from imitation and following formulas and just acknowledging what comes out of you naturally. Because what comes out of you naturally might not be your favorite thing. It might not be the best thing in the world, but it is the thing that comes out of you easiest. And ultimately, it's a balance of the ideal of what you would like to create, where you would like to go, the sound you're imagining in your head, but also on the other side, what naturally comes out of you, what just happens organically, and finding the happy medium of working with the energy that comes out of you, the music that comes out of you naturally, and then tweaking, shaping, and refining it according to your creative taste and where you would like to go. Because whatever comes out of you naturally will be significantly easier to shape and refine and work with versus trying to force yourself into a box that feels unnatural. Don't follow trends just because they're popular. Create music that reflects your personality and your own artistic values. And this is going to involve taking risks and getting outside your comfort zone, because you never know where innovation can happen. Tip number 5 is practice, practice, practice. And this is the most important tip of them all. So staying consistent in working on your music and pushing yourself outside of your comfort zone and taking risks and stretching yourself, stretching your current abilities is going to be the prerequisite and the most important factor in creating innovations, in discovering new uncharted musical territory. Because at the end of the day, it all comes down to taking action and gaining knowledge from your own experience. Because as you create more music, you're going to learn what comes easy to you. You're going to learn what you don't like. You're going to learn what resonates with you and what tools inspire creativity in you a lot easier than other tools. And there's no way for you to know that other than taking action. And it's very easy to get stuck in our heads and wanting it to be perfect before we start taking action. But the truth is that the taking action is what will build the foundation to ultimately strive for perfection. Theory, reading books, watching YouTube tutorials does not equal practice, being consistent and making music, because it's only through practice that you'll become clear on what it is you actually need to learn and focus on next, not the other way around. And really engaging yourself fully in the music making practice and engaging yourself with the music and the tools you use, and then identifying what resonates with you at your core, what really speaks to you, will be your best teacher. So if you're interested in learning a system that's going to help you stay consistent and prompts you to ask the right questions at the right time for you to consistently shape and refine your own creative process so that you can make the best music that you can, that is a true reflection of your authentic self, of your inner artist, then I invite you to check out my free masterclass called How to Master the 3 Secrets of the Creative Process, where I dive deep into all sorts of actionable insights I've learned on my 10+ year journey about the creative process and shaping it and refining it into your own thing so that you can continue to shape and refine your own unique sound. So if you're interested in checking that out, you can find it in the link below. If you got value out of this video, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. If you want to stay in tune for the next Metamind music transmission, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and let me know in the comments down below. How important do you think having a unique sound and a unique voice in music is in today's day and age? Do you think it's one of the most important things to stand out amongst all the music being created? Or do you think it's maybe not as important as I'm making it out to be? I'd love to know your opinion in the comments down below. And until the next time, I will see you in the next video.